Hey freeze dryers, welcome back to Live Long and Freeze Dry. Had a bunch of food go through the freeze dryer in the past couple of weeks since we got the new vacuum pump. Freeze dryer's getting a week off, going down to Texas for a wedding, and all of the food that we're taking down for the taco bar that the kids wanted at the wedding is all chicken and beef and guacamole that we went and prepared with the freeze dryer and bagged up in the Mylar bags. And we've got all of that packed up and ready to go for this weekend. Looking forward to seeing how everybody likes it. One of the expenses that you have to incur with your freeze dryer is the oil. Because we're removing the water from the product through the freeze drying process, some of that water is going to get into your vacuum pump, and it is going to it'll mix with the oil, and eventually you'll actually notice in your sight glass that your oil level will be higher at the end of a run than it was when you started it. There's been a lot of chatter about, okay, what's the best oil to use in your pump? Blue Alpine has recommended the Dairyland, and something I ran into as I'm using the Dairyland is a way to extend the life of your oil and life of your vacuum pump by getting that water out of the oil without having to do complete changes every time. So what I do is, after the machine has finished running a batch, shut everything down, put it on defrost. Then I take my vacuum pump and I move it towards the front of the table, and as you can see, it's tilted down a little bit. So I'll let it sit a couple hours or maybe overnight if possible. And what'll happen is that oil and water will separate inside the case. The water will settle to the bottom, and the oil will be on top. And then you can take and put a measuring cup or a glass underneath it, open the valve, and you're able to drain the water out and see when the water and the oil are not mixed. You'll see the water will come out first, and then eventually you'll see the oil come out. And with the Dairyland being the blue in color, you can actually see it. And so you're not guessing, is that oil just cloudy, or is it water, is it contaminated? But as I'll show you, you can set it on an angle where it's tilted forward, let it sit, and then you can drain out and separate the oil. I'm going to go ahead and show you that procedure. So here we are. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drain the water out of the oil. The oil that we're using here is the Dairyland, and I've found that the great thing about Dairyland is that it's blue. And so when you go to drain it after you've done a batch and let it sit for a while, you can see how the water comes out first as it's settled to the bottom, and you can open that drain valve up and just watch as it's coming out. You can see how it's just bouncing off the glass, and now here it's starting to stick to the glass, and you're seeing the color change, so you know that you're moving into the oil situation. And when it goes to straight oil, like it is right now, we shut her back off. Now I will take this and I'll pour it into a plastic cup, and we'll let that cup go ahead and settle out where this water settles to the bottom, and what the Dairyland that is in there will rise to the top, and then I'll throw it in the freezer. And the water at the bottom will freeze, the oil will stay at the top, it'll get a little thick, but then I can pour it off into my filter, run it through the filter, and be able to use it again, free of any debris and free of any water that was mixed in with it. So this is just another thing that you can do to help to make your freeze drying process, your maintenance and so forth, as economical as possible. I hope this helps. So there you have it. you've got the water out of the oil that's inside your vacuum pump, and you're able to reuse it after you've frozen it and separated the oil from the water and back into your filter and getting it filtered out. And this is just an expense that you can save by taking a few minutes to do it. Now, this is by no means saying that you don't need to change your oil completely on a regular occasion and discard what you've removed. But the whole thing with having a freeze dryer and preparing your own survival foods is to be frugal and to save money. So take care of your freeze dryer, keep your oil changed, filtered, get the water out of the thing, and continue to build your stockpile for when things go south or when you're just feeling too lazy to cook up a full meal. You can always come down to your freeze dryer room, grab a bag, pre-made stuff, and take care of your family that way. So I'm going to leave you with that. We'll get back to you another video after I get back from the wedding. You guys all take care. Thanks for showing up.